You were born with super speed, though you wouldn't fully grasp what that meant for years. From the first flutter of toes in the hospital crib, the world already seemed to blur around you. The nurses joked, much too early, that you might burst into tears before you even knew you were being born. As an infant, you could already crawl faster than the steadiness of your mother's heartbeat. Your first steps came so quickly that you hardly had time to master walking before you were running laps around your unsuspecting family. The sensation was surreal, a warm rush of wind wherever you went, your tiny lungs and heart thrumming like engines racing to keep up. To you, the simplest act of moving was an exhilarating dance. It would be years before you realized it was something else entirely. Fragile things stop liking you. Your favorite teddy might as well be made of tissue paper. The moment you pick it up, limbs tear off. The family cat, long suffering of your games, refuses to play chase when you barrel past. One wild hug nearly shattered its spine and left it under the bed with a hiss. Even crayons melt under your grip and toy cars take flight at full sprint. Slowly you learn that being born fast means treating the world as if it's made of glass. Whatever you're doing, it's at risk of breaking. By the time you reach kindergarten, recess isn't a break, it's another lap to run. Your teacher calls you active, which is one word for someone who can finish an entire workbook in the time it takes everyone else to solve one problem. Nap time is non-existent for you. While others struggle to keep their eyes closed, you sprint through dreams without ever really sleeping. Art class is even stranger. Your pencils paint entire pictures so fast the paper might as well be moving. To your classmates, you're a living cartoon, a blur where a kid should be, which only means one thing. You're either a superhero or just plain weird. By grade school, the challenges set in. Schoolwork is practically a joke. Math problems get solved before the teacher even finishes writing them on the board, and every quiz feels like a time trial you've already won. You try your hand at any sport, track, soccer, you name it, and inevitably break everything from records to bones in the process. In track, you cross the finish line before the starter pistol is even lowered. On the field, even a soccer ball can't survive one of your kicks, and something as simple as a jump rope becomes a hazard, snapping in two from the shock of your step. Since you can't exactly slam on the brakes, the world becomes your crash test. That stray hug you meant to give nearly breaks someone in half. An innocent day in the hallway becomes a demolition derby. Papers scatter and elbows swing, and every so often, someone ends up hurt. You become a word-of-mouth cautionary tale. Don't get in the path of the boy who moves as though he's powered by a storm. By high school, everything else around you feels frozen while you keep running. You stand at parties and watch people dance in slow motion, like a glacial dream, your body buzzing with adrenaline. The conversation moves at a crawl when it should be lightning fast. When you speak, you find you've already answered questions they haven't even asked yet. No one seems to understand. They think you're impatient or rude or just plain strange. Between classes, while your friends lag behind, you fly ahead. Every corridor of the school is your own private racetrack, and with every footfall you're reminded that your world and theirs are on different speeds. During your teens, even the grown-ups start to notice. Coaches want you for the track team, and they whisper about performance enhancers. Of course, they have no idea you don't need anything but your own physiology to leave their sprinters in the dust. One afternoon, a professor from the local university shows up, clipboard in hand, practically giddy to study the human Formula 1, as he calls you. Medical tests become routine, EKGs and MRIs, and sleepless nights in the hospital as doctors puzzle over why your heart seems to skip a beat the moment you slow down. Exhaustion doesn't even begin to cover it. Every day feels like a marathon run in your mind. You train hard, push your limits, but the barriers keep coming. Sprained joints, torn ligaments, hairline fractures in bones already too familiar with breaking. Every time you heal, it feels like your body is coiled tight, ready to run again, as if it never caught a chance to rest. Even in sleep, you're not safe from the race. You toss and turn like you're still sprinting in a dream. You hit adulthood without much warning. College feels strange. Lectures crawl and other students can't keep pace in group projects. You either finish assignments overnight or pretend to nap in class so no one suspects the truth. A lecture on relativity suddenly feels personal. You suspect that for you, Einstein wasn't wrong. Time really is elastic. You type reports so fast that by the time you've finished your coffee, your co-workers are only halfway through theirs. Even walking out the office door might demolish a hallway. You're that unstoppable. One co-worker once jokingly laced up his shoes to run with you. After 10 feet, he was huffing like a furnace and begged for mercy. Friends suggest meditation or yoga to slow down. To you, watching paint dry feels like therapy. For the first time, you find yourself almost envying slowness, even a snail's crawl. Romantic relationships become riddles. Long dates end with you waiting impatiently by the dessert menu while your partner sips water. They ask you to meet at 7. You arrive at 6:50 and sit in the car to not freak them out. Online dating makes it worse. By the time your date replies, you've already lived through a novel. And somehow, you always end up alone at the end of the night. Heart racing as fast as your steps, wondering if the next person you chase will ever catch up. Years pass. Every morning you wake up with a weariness that normal people only know after running marathons. Your limbs, once springy and strong, start to creak. Sunrises become fewer and heavier every day. Wrinkles map themselves on your face in swirling lines, each one a mile you've sprinted into the wind. You find yourself craving monotony, a simple, quiet moment without a beating heart that never knows when to stop. It strikes you that maybe being born fast has simply meant you'll never truly get old, but also that you might never really get to rest, and the world just keeps spinning at its own pace, indifferent to your reality. In the quiet hours you still run, the empty streets stretching out like an endless ribbon beneath you. Night falls, and you become a ghost on the boulevard, a whisper of movement in the silence. Sometimes you wonder if anyone will ever know your story, or if you'll simply drift into myth. An urban legend at best. When the race feels over, whether tonight or in the distant future, you realize your legacy isn't a trophy or a headline, but the miles only you know, the quiet persistence of footsteps after everyone else has gone home. For a moment, it doesn't matter that no one is watching. You run anyway because it's all you know how to do. In the end, you find a quiet sort of peace. Maybe it's fate that you were born on the edge of tomorrow, moving faster than time itself. You came into the world like a storm, and you'll slip out of it almost without notice. Wind easing from the trees, and your legacy. It's stitched into the moments no one else will ever see, the 1,000 tiny worlds you saw coming and going, just beyond anyone's reach. When the curtain finally falls, you'll know it was you who ran alone, on a path nobody else could follow. Someday, in the stillness, you might even wonder, what would it have been like to live just a bit slower?